Welcome to this final GNBS Facebook Live for the year. Season's greetings to you from the Guyana National Bureau of Standards. I am Lloyd David, Head of Corporate Communications at the GNBS. And if you have viewed any of our 11 programs so far for the year, you would know that it is an opportunity for us to promote our standards and services to you, our valued stakeholders. Through these programs, we educate and encourage you, the consumers and the business owners, about what we offer and the benefits of what we offer here at the Guyana National Bureau of Standards. As we step into the holiday season, we know that there will be significant increase in commercial transactions. Amidst the hustle and bustle, GNBS is placing the spotlight on measurements and the importance of relying on approved metric instruments, particularly at shops, markets, and supermarkets across Guyana. Joining me to talk about weights and measure today is Mr. Andrew Koshas, who is a Senior Inspector within the Metrology Services Department. And of course, we'll be doing so at M&S Matai on Watson Street, Georgetown. So let's take a look at this video. Yeah, so we're down here at the Matai Supermarket in Water Street, and I'm so happy to be joined today by Andrew Koshas. He's a Senior Inspector within our Legal Metrology Department. And of course, legal metrology has to do with measurements in trade. And he's one of the leaders that ensure that, all weighing and measuring instruments used in trade are accurate and reliable. And of course, this is the time, the Christmas season, where lots of persons have been doing shopping. I must ask you, Koshas, welcome to this program.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. And I must ask you, of course, so how's your shopping coming so far for Christmas?
Well, Lloyd, I can tell you that I have prepared my list, but I haven't quite gotten around to shopping as yet.
You like many others. I know some consumers who are viewing this live. Of course, they have their list as well.
Definitely.
And they are looking to make their shopping. But what the GNBS is concerned about is when they begin to do that shopping, they receive accurate measurements. And that's why we're down at this lovely supermarket. It's well stocked. It has so many items. Of course, people will buy many of these items for the Christmas season as part of the big, the big cookout that we Guyanese are accustomed to having. And we want to ensure that when they spend their money, they receive accurate measurements.
That's correct. Okay, so what I can tell you, Lloyd, is that the GNBS has been carrying out its mandate throughout the year, which deals with ensuring that all weighing and measuring instruments have been approved and verified for trade. Now, in this heightened shopping season, you would find a lot of shoppers want value for money. So they also have a responsibility to ensure that they're not tricked or they're not subjected to being robbed or receiving short weight.
Yes. So when we're talking about short weights, Andrew, there are many instruments that are used in the verification, in the measurement of products, of course. So could you tell our consumers a bit of these instruments and what they should buy from and what they should not?
Definitely, Lloyd. So some of the basic instruments are out there are the scales, which are the red scales that are seen on the market, the electronic scales, and even the platform scales that are used to measure the larger items. Now, consumers are expected to look for our approval seal on those scales because only approved scales would carry the GNBS's sticker or seal.
Yes, so consumers, if you are listening to this live, what you need to ensure, one of the things you need to ensure when you're buying is to look for the approval sticker. As Mr. Koshas mentioned, that sticker gives guidance and to say whether that device was verified for the period. So you want to look for that sticker, of course. And of course, there are many other tips that consumers must be aware of when they're making the shopping. Could we share some of those measurement tips with us?
Certainly, Lloyd. So today there are 5 basic tips, basic but very important, that I would like to share with consumers out there. Now, the first tip has to do with ensuring, as I said before, that the scales are approved for trade. And that's pretty simple. Just look for the approval sticker from the GNBS and that would be able to guide you. In addition to that, scales must be clean. Yeah. One of the things out there is that not only does an untidy scale looks unsightly, but it may also result in inaccurate measurements.
And also contamination of the product.
Definitely.
Food products, yes.
So ensure that if you're purchasing from a vendor, that vendor is using a scale that is clean, free from debris. The third point I would like to move on to is have a look at the indication. Whenever your commodity is being weighed, have a look at the indication so you will actually see that you're getting what you're paying for.
When you say indication, what specifically you're talking about? So as to give them a little clarity.
Okay, so as it relates to the electronic scales, they would carry a digital display. So consumers can look at that display to ensure that whatever is being displayed, they actually pay for that quantity.
Yeah. So when the vendor puts the item onto the scale, or you as a consumer decide to reweigh your prepackaged product, you want to ensure that what is reading on the scale is what you're actually paying for. So
Definitely. Now, there may be instances whereby the customer is a bit uncertain. So you simply ask the vendor or the shopkeeper to reweigh it in your presence.
Okay. So
As a consumer, they have that right.
okay. So what other tips you have for the consumer?
Okay, so the fourth tip I have for them, ensure that you're buying in metric quantities. Now, the thing about it is that the metric unit is the only legal unit for trade in Guyana. So it's only logical that you buy in metric quantities because the GNBS would only verify metric devices.
Yes, it's very important. Since 2002, Guyana has become a country that should be using the metric system by law. There are many other countries around the world, and just two others actually are not using the metric system. So we at the GNBS all year round, we are promoting the use of the metric system. So we want consumers to request their items in metric quantity. And if to break it down so you can understand what we're talking about, if you're going to buy a kilogram, you're going to buy your potato. I know a lot of people, they make all sorts of potato
Salad and
all
that.
these things at Christmas time. If you're going to buy your potato, you should request those items in kilograms and grams. If you're going to buy your onion, your garlic, all these items that you would actually shop from a supermarket or from a vendor in the market, you want to request those items in metric quantities. Even the liquid items, of course, you need to buy.
Definitely. So liquids are sold in units of liters, milliliters. And one final point I would like to touch on, Lloyd, very importantly, some items will not be weighed in the presence of those consumers because these items are already pre-packaged.
Yes.
So what consumers are advised to do is to have a look at the quantity that is stated on the package, or what we refer to as the net content. Don't just assume that you're getting a certain quantity. Have a look at the label.
Okay, in terms of net content though, what has the GNBS been doing to ensure that the net contents of packages are correct?
Okay, so there have been some concern over the years regarding the accuracy of net contents or accuracy of the labels. So 2023, this year, the GNBS would have embarked on our verification of net content program. So what I would want to appeal to is packers or manufacturers who are prepackaging commodities to make contact with the GNBS to access our net content verification program.
Yes, that's very important because lots of the time, especially in supermarkets like Matai and all these other supermarkets around our country, a lot of pre-packaging is being done. It's not in the instance where it's the marketplace where the vendor actually weighs the item in front of you. There are pre-packaged items all around. We'll, of course, take shots of those so the persons can see what we're talking about. But we want to ensure all in all that when you, the consumers, make your purchases, you are assured that you're receiving accurate measurements. And that is why we had this live here today. We have this live here today. And Mr. Koshas is sharing key information with us, myself and you, the consumers, so that you can, when you go out there, protect yourself during the Christmas season. I know it's a hustle, bustle, exciting one. Take time, spend your money cautiously, spend your money that, of course, like if it has value and you want the best for yourself. So not only the other items, the measurements are very critical, and the GNBS has that responsibility to ensure that the weighing and measuring instruments used in trade are accurate and reliable. So of course, any other final comments you
Yes,
want to
Lord.
share?
So on that note, there are two pieces of advice I would like to give to consumers out there.
Yes, sure.
The first one is to avoid buying from those domestic dial scales, or what we refer to commonly as blue scales. Those scales are not approved for commercial use. The quantity cannot be verified. The accuracy cannot be verified. Avoid using those scales. Those are not verified by the GNBS. In addition to that, the basic principle that governs measurement is that all solids should be weighed and all liquids should be measured. So if you're buying grains such as rice, which happens to be a solid,
Yes.
then those commodities should be weighed and not measured.
Okay. So you don't want to go and buy a liter of rice or anything like that.
There's no such thing as that.
I see the producers of rice, they actually have the bags in kilograms. And all of that.
Definitely. So those products are sold in bulk by weight. So it's only fair or logical that the retailers sell them by weight.
Yes, of course, this includes peas and chana and all these
Peas and
things.
stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. All grains.
All great. So that's key information, coaches. Mr. Coaches shared with us today. Certainly, when you're gonna make your purchases, buy those solids by weight instead of measure as a common practice you've been doing forever ago. We want to begin to do the correct thing, and that is the correct thing. So, Mr. Coaches, I want to thank you very much for spending some time here down at Matai with me to share information to the consumers so that they can understand how important is accurate and reliable measurements and what you and your team at the GNBS has been doing to ensure that they receive those accurate measurements. So thank you very much, sir.
Thanks again for having me, Lord. So in closing, I would just like to mention that we encourage consumers to follow those tips. But in addition to that, not only are we appealing to the consumers, but the shopkeepers and vendors also have a responsibility to ensure that they're using approved devices.
Yes, that is very important. So the appeal is not only to consumers, but also to vendors and shopkeepers who are actually utilizing these devices. I want them to use the devices properly, of course,
Definitely.
to ensure that the measurements are right. So thank you very much, Coaches, and thank you very much, viewers, for joining us today at this live. We are down at Matai's, and we thought it was a very appropriate location to talk to you when it comes to weights and measures, because so many shopping and so many weighing and all of that is being done here at Matai, and we want persons to get value for their money. So on behalf of the Guyana National Bureau Standards, I want to wish all our value stakeholders, all of you, season's greetings, a Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year. You have done well as stakeholders, and we will continue to serve you throughout 2024. And we'd like to thank you for your valued patronage during 2023. Have a wonderful holiday. Bye.